money, and time taking it to some a technician and paying him a couple $100 when you can do it yourself for $4.95. So let me show you how to install this key now. So let me just take the contents out of the bag here. Now when you do get your key, you should get it in 3 pieces. There's 3 parts to this key, which is very, very important. Obviously, first off, you have your key. Next important piece is the hinge. This little thing here. You have to be very gentle with it. That's the hinge assembly. And then last but not least, you have this little thing here. It's a little rubber thing. If you think it's a piece of packaging, you're mistaken. It's very important, and it's actually called the cup. Small little rubber cup. Right? You can actually depress it, and it feels like a little rubber button. So you have your key, hinge, and you have your little cup. Now the first thing you have to do before you start working on the keyboard, and before you start working on replacing this faulty button here, I have to turn off the laptop. So let me do that now. And let's go to shut down. Now I'm going to remove the old key. Now it shouldn't be too hard because it actually is kind of loose already. But if you have a small flathead screwdriver or a very small pocket knife, and I'm going to use a very small pocket knife in this video, or even if your fingernail, if you can gently remove this key. There you go. And that comes off. Now I always stress, be very patient when you work on your laptop because you don't want to damage any of the internals. So here we're looking at the old key. So you remember when I showed you the key and then I showed you that little nub and then that little hinge assembly? So here's the old nub, the little rubber piece in the middle here which you're going to replace. And here is the old hinge assembly which we're going to take out. So obviously if I lift this up like this, you can see how the hinge assembly works here. It's like a scissors. It's like a cross on either end, and it actually comes up like that. Now if you look closely, there are 2 little hinges on the side here, and at the top underneath this piece here there is also 2 little hinges. So what I'm going to do is slowly unpry the hinges from the bottom first because they look they're under like this metal tab. I'm just going to pull those out and I should be able to just lift the whole thing out. Now on the bottom 2 corners here there are these metal tabs that are attached to the chassis, and actually what they do, this is the new assembly unit here. What you can see here is that those metal tabs actually go through these little holes here. So what I'm to do is, when I'm taking this out, is to gently pry that up like that on one side. Oh, and there you go. Comes right out. So I have big fingers, so I am going to use my little knife assembly here. Just out you go, and bye bye, faulty unit. And then that little nub piece, I can just take that out. That's actually so here's my replacement nub, and actually the nub on this one is actually still in good condition, so I'm going to leave this one in. But if your nub is faulty, you can just take this out and replace it with this unit here, right? But this one isn't still in good condition, so I'm going to leave that one in. But you do have a spare rubber nub, right? And that's what goes in the middle there. So Here's my new assembly. Now to remember the orientation, how did it go now? Yes, I think it was, yes, this way. So this is the orientation. Best way to look at it with the 2013 to 2016 MacBook Pros, you have a little, it's not a perfect circle, there's a little line along the top here. Let me just show you. See this line along the top here? So it's like a little circle, and there's a little line there at the top. So that flat edge faces that way, and make sure that the long piece along the top here, it goes up, right? It can only go in one direction. That's up. Anyway, so let's put this in. So it's actually easier to put in and take out, because when I look here I can see there's two metal hooks here on the top and two metal hooks here on the bottom. So what I'm going to do is start off with the metal hooks right here at the bottom. I should be able to hook that in, and it should hook in like that. So I'm pulling and it's not going anywhere because it's in the hook. Now what I'm going to do is then bring down the top, and then I'm going to press those hooks in, 1, 2, and that's it. It's in place. So what I did, I just held it, put the bottom two hooks into the two grooves, pulled it a little bit to make sure that they were in those two grooves, and then I just put my finger and put some pressure on the top part of the little assembly there, and just clicked in both corners, so all four corners are in place. Now that's done, I get my brand new N. Now the top of, if you look at the bottom here, underneath the key, if you can see, I'm not too sure, there are four little latches, right? So all I do is just put it right on top of the assembly like that, and gently press it in place to hear a clip. Hear that? 1, 2, 3, 4, and there, my friends, we have a brand new letter N.